Okay, we're back. We have another research question we're going to study. The question is, would today's students return $20 dropped on the street to the owner? So we're going to ask some students if they saw someone drop money on the street, would they return it to the owner? We're going to estimate what percent of students overall will return money by using a sample and computing the percent in the sample that said, yes, I would return the money. So that seems like that'll work. So if you go ahead and try that, here's what happened. Asked 100 students. 67 said yes. We can compute the percent, which is 67%. 67% of the students in the sample said they would return the money, but we wonder if they were truthful. Because you might not respond honestly, because you might think people would look down on you because you said, no, I'm just going to keep the $20 because they lost it, finders, keepers, losers, weepers. And that makes you feel like, that makes you look like a bad person. So a lot of people are going to say, of course I'd give it back. What do you think? I think I'm a bad person. But the truth is you might keep it, right? So that's a problem. So 67% are either willing to give the money back or willing to lie and say they would give the money back. Whenever you ask questions, you have to wonder, are they telling the truth when they're answering the question? So now we're going to analyze the results. 67% estimates the true percent to within about 9%. So even though we don't know if they're truthful or not, if we asked 100 again, we're not going to get 67 exactly again. You'll get something around 67. Statisticians know about how that goes, and they know the 67% with size 100 is probably within about 9% of the right answer. So the true percent is likely to be between 67 minus 9, which is 58, and 67 plus 9, which is 76%. So certainly it looks like more than half of students be willing to give the money back. All right, so here we have an example of something that's called a confidence interval of where we think the true value is, because we know it's not exactly the sampled value. It should just be close to the sampled value. You have to decide what the margin of error is supposed to be, and statisticians have ways to do that. Now this particular story, or this particular study, got my attention because when I was maybe 19 years old, when I lived in Vancouver, British Columbia, I was walking down the street. I had to walk all over the place back then. In fact, I still walk a lot. And I was walking along the sidewalk, and I saw in the grass next to the sidewalk 4 $20 bills just sitting there, begging to be picked up. So I looked around. I didn't really see anyone. I reached down, got $80. That was a lot of money. It was a long time ago. It was a lot of money. Put it in my pocket, and I decided instead of walking up the street, I was going to walk, make a turn, just in case someone saw me do it or somebody figured out that they dropped money and they would come back and find me. They'd see me standing there, they'd ask me, and I was just going to run away. So I got about halfway down the block, getting off of that street, when I turned around and said, you know what, I think I saw someone way up the road. So to ease my own conscience, what I'm going to do, I said this to myself, I'm going to walk up the road till I find the person I can see. I'm going to ask him, are you missing any money? And if he says I'm missing $80, I'm going to give it back. And if he doesn't say he's missing anybody, I did my best. And I don't feel that bad about keeping the money. I'm not going to look over all of Vancouver trying to find someone who lost $80. And so I'll just go to the next likely person walking down the sidewalk. I see people walking way up there. But there weren't that many people walking on the street. So I sprint on up there, and I see these 2 people walking. And the one guy, he's got a cane. And I asked him, this breaks me up every time. So I asked him, are you missing any money? And he said, wait, let me check. He went to his pocket. He said, I used to have $80 in my back pocket. Now it's gone. And so I said, well, I have it. Here you go. And that's my story. I'll see you in a minute.